One of the most fascinating light phenomena is color. Without light, there is no color. Objects don't disappear in the dark, but color does. It is this property of light that Carlos Cruz Diez has been relentlessly investigating since the 1950s. He has developed his artistic discourse around 8 lines of research. Chromointerference is one of them. When he started to work as a graphic designer in 1941, Cruz Diez was fascinated by moire patterns. They occur, for example, in the Ben-Day dots printing process, a technique using layers of colored dots to produce different shades. In 1964, as he was further developing his artistic discourse, he started a new series of tests. He began with a printed pattern as the basis, which he decided to cover with a transparent plastic bearing the same linear pattern. It produced a chromatic interference that changed depending on the movements of the transparent sheet.
Something appeared. I was amazed. It was a color that was outside of the material. It was coming out of the surface, and it was creating hundreds of colors, subtle colors that were appearing as I was moving the transparent sheet over the printed pattern. I first named it false prism. Before I named it chromointerference, because that was in fact what I was seeing, the colors of the prism, but without the prism. So I then called it chromointerference because it's exactly what it is. I give all my artworks a name that describes what they are. Chromointerference, color interference, physichromy, physical color, and so on. The chromointerference manipulable is what I did when I was discovering the false prism. By manipulating it, I was discovering the phenomenon, and I wanted to transmit that, which is what I always try to do, to share my experiences and the moment of pleasure I had in discovering a phenomenon and all the possibilities of the world of color. To me, history is fundamental. It was important for me to study and read thoroughly about history. I studied the Impressionists, as well as the classics like Tintoretto and all the Venetian painters, to see how they used color. But also the Romantics and all the Impressionists. Albers, Itten. With all that, I gained a profound insight into what they've done. They were all about the surface. It was all about the color already made, not color as a process. And this is the concept I've tried to put forth, color happening in the moment. I analyzed the work of the Pointillists. The dot, to them, was an aesthetic element to produce color. The colored dots were producing new colors depending on their placement and on the distance between them. It is what they use in printing, a network of dots, which is exactly what we do nowadays to print in color. Likewise, with television, there are colored dots next to each other, and depending on their size, they generate one color or another. They use the dot, but I use the line, not for aesthetic reasons, but because it's effective. It is a plane of color that is not the dot that the Pointillists used. Instead, they are areas of color. They are large, wide spaces of color that can be generated with parallel lines.
From the first interactive boxes and the columns or the chromatic performances, the chromointerference keep evolving, just like the rest of Cruz Diez's work.